RedChip. We build investor audiences for small cap companies, retail and institutional. 33 years, thousands of clients. We are experts in messaging, national TV ad campaigns, investor webinars, digital media, reaching hundreds of thousands of investors. RedChip. We do it well, we do it right, we do it big. RedChip. Call us or email us today.
This is Craig with RedChip Companies. Thank you for joining today's event with Fathom Holdings, which trades on the Nasdaq under the ticker FTHM. With us today, we have Marco Fregonal, the Chief Executive Officer of Fathom. We will begin with a brief presentation in a moment, and then we will answer your questions. Users may submit a question at any time by using the Q&A tool at the bottom of the Zoom window. Before we begin, please allow me to read the Safe Harbor Statement. This call may contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. All statements pertaining to future financial and/or operating results, along with other statements about the future expectations, beliefs, goals, plans, or prospects expressed by management, constitute forward-looking statements. Any statements that are not historical fact should also be considered forward-looking statements. Of course, forward-looking statements involve risks and uncertainties. I now turn this webinar over to Marco. Please go ahead.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I appreciate the opportunity to continue to share the Fathom story with all of you. Let me just first review some of the highlights for our company. In Q1 of this year, we had revenue growth of 32%, transaction growth of 26%, and agent growth of 22%. So despite a very difficult real estate industry, and as all of you know, the real estate industry for the last 3 years have gone through a significant decline, Fathom continues to grow its business and continues to execute its plan, and we're certainly very proud of that. We invested over $20 million in acquisitions, software. We are now in 43 states, and we continue to highlight the acquisition of My Home Group, which is 2,200 agents in November of last year, with revenues of over $100 million forecasted for 2025. As I mentioned earlier, the real estate industry has gone through some very difficult times the last few years. NAR, the National Association of Realtors, did predict or forecast an increase this year. We think this forecast is really, or the increase is really going to come in the second half, as many have predicted that interest rates or the Fed will start reducing its overnight rate sometime in September of this year, and that should hopefully increase the number of transactions later this year. But more importantly, it will probably have a significant impact in the number of transactions in 2026 and 2027. Let me take a few minutes to highlight sort of some of our investment highlights. You know, there are many things that make Fathom a unique company. The way we look at real estate is very different, and our offering to real estate agents. We believe that when we look at the totality of the value that we offer to agents, we are one of the top companies in the industry. Another thing that makes Fathom very unique is that we own our entire technology stack. Based on the early days when Josh Harley founded the company, we wanted to control our destiny in terms of our own technology. And so we invested almost $20 million in technology to create IntelliAgent, and I'll later in the presentation talk a little bit more detail with IntelliAgent and the significant impact that IntelliAgent has in our business. Another aspect that makes Fathom interesting as a company is that we own our own mortgage company and title company. We believe that long term, both of these businesses will prove to be excellent businesses and drive significant EBITDA to the bottom line. And even though, again, we're going through a tough few years in the industry, we think long term it will be a net positive. We do have what we believe is an effective growth strategy, and certainly we'll discuss that in more detail. We have demonstrated that over the years we continue to grow. Back in Q4 of last year, we started growing again. Q1 also over 30% revenue growth. And certainly, we believe we have a great management team that has a great deal of experience in this industry, over 50 years combined experience, not only in the real estate industry, but mortgage and title. So we feel like when you look at the totality of everything that Fathom brings to the table, I think you would agree that we have a lot to offer. When we talk about a brokerage business reinvented, there are many different aspects to that. First of all, in our model is that we are very asset light. We don't really have office spaces where agents come to hang out, and so we are a virtual company. Our brokerage model is also very different because, for the most part, we're a flat fee. Even though this year we announced Elevate, and I'll certainly discuss that in more detail, our model is significantly different than our competitors in terms of what the agent pays, and the agents actually significantly save more money by working with Fathom. As I mentioned, we launched Elevate, which is a concierge level service. It's probably one of the most exciting things we believe we have done in this company. And we think that Elevate will significantly change the industry as other companies will have to adjust to this offering. And I'll get more in detail on that in a few slides. Again, I mentioned office space already, technology, we own our technology. And the biggest value of owning our technology is that we control our destiny. We're able to move very quickly. We're able to implement things very quickly because we're not dependent on a third party company to implement the changes we do. Ancillary services, I mentioned that early, and certainly the growth potential. We are the ninth or 10th largest company, depending how you look at it, and we have about roughly about a 1% market share. And so there is an enormous potential for growth ahead for all of us. Again, as we discuss value, and we look at the totality of the value that we bring to agents, and this is a combination of not only the commission splits, the revenue share, which we launched late last year, the technology, and we'll talk a little more on technology, and really the value that it brings to our agents in terms of using our technology. We provide our agents leads, certainly robust training, and meaningful agent support. So again, when you look at the totality of our offering, I think you find that it is fairly comprehensive. So let's get into the commission split. So Fathom was created about 15 years ago by Josh Harley with the idea of offering a flat fee, or some kind in English you call it 100% commission. So as you can tell, an agent, when he closes a transaction with Fathom, on average could save over $3,000. And so this was created many years ago, and we continue to be one of the leaders in the 100% commission market. The 100% commission market is roughly about 15% of all the agents in the country. So, and continue to grow. I would argue that the 100% commission, when you look at the totality of all the small companies across the country, it is probably the fastest growing segment of this industry. And we think that there's still a great room to grow in terms of the offering. Now let's discuss Elevate. So Elevate was created a few months back. We launched Elevate about 2 months ago. And the concept of Elevate is actually the opposite of our flat fee. So let me take a step back and think and discuss this. So our flat fee model, basically the message is you come to Fathom, you leverage our technology, and you pay a very low fee, and you do everything yourself, right? You actually run your business yourself, but you get the benefit of paying a very low fee. Elevate is the opposite of that. Elevate is a full comprehensive service that helps the agent run the entire business. It has 5 different pillars in terms of marketing, workflow, productivity, recruiting, and leads, and really manages the entire life cycle of a transaction. It helps the agent grow their entire business. The goal of Elevate is actually to help an agent double their business within the next 2 years. It took us a long time to create Elevate, and really is a very it's a shift in the mindset in terms of looking at agents. It's somewhat similar to a company like Shopify that offers individuals to run their business, and they offers them all the tools and products and services for them to run an e-commerce. Elevate offers our agents everything they need to run their business. And so it is definitely a paradigm shift in our business. And we think that over time, Elevate will continue to be a significant differentiator. One of the interesting things about Elevate is that it has a much higher percentage in gross profit. It would increase our gross profit by over 400%, and the EBITDA per transaction is greater than $1,000. So Elevate not only is going to help our agents grow, but at the same time is going to have a significant positive impact on our business going forward. We do offer revenue share. As I mentioned earlier, we launched revenue share late last year, and there is a percentage of agents that actually take advantage of revenue share. So in a sense, we really are a hybrid model. We have our flat fee model, we have a revenue share model, and we have our full service concierge model that offers the agent the ability to really run their business and make sure that they can focus all their time in the most important aspect of their business, which is their customer. Effective technology is one of the key differentiators for us. So our product is called IntelliAgent. It was built. Well, the best way to describe IntelliAgent would be an ERP for the real estate industry. It is a complete solution for agents to run their entire business, from agent websites to a CRM, transaction management, neighborhood reports so they can market themselves as experts in the neighborhood, lead generation, marketing campaigns, a whole website for print and marketing. So it really offers the agents the totality and a very comprehensive set of technology and products to help agents really market themselves and run their business. It has taken us many years to do this. And the beauty about IntelliAgent is that it allows us to run the business in a much more cost-effective way, and I'll discuss this in a couple of slides. We do offer our agents real estate leads, a comprehensive programming leads from Hometown Heroes, which we're very proud of, which helps local heroes, first responders buy their home, to all kinds of other leads programs, and we'll continue to develop and launch new leads programs as we continue to grow our business. Certainly, support is important. We built a very robust, excuse me, technology platform to help our agents continue to train themselves. We do webinars and 24/7 access to technology in terms of training programs. We have a mentor program that's been very successful in helping new agents become successful. And so we feel very proud about the growth, the job we have done in terms of helping our agents continue to improve their skills. So let's talk about IntelliAgent for a second in more detail. So again, IntelliAgent is a proprietary technology. It does a variety of things in terms of helping run our business. So not only offers the agents a complete solution, but it allows us to run the business in a much more effective and efficient way. By streamlining all the processes around a transaction, we can expand into new markets and new offers very quickly. We're able to program Elevate in roughly 60 days, which is an incredible achievement, and that's because we own our technology. It minimizes our technology costs because we're not paying third-party companies. A lot of brokerages have four or five different products, different products from different companies. And again, we offer a complete solution. It improves our attach rates by attaching our businesses with our agents, and certainly increase gross profit. IntelliAgent allows us to run an entire transaction, including paying the local broker with less than $270 per transaction. 270. So where our competitors are probably spending 3 to 4 times that amount of money. So their ability to run a transaction at a much lower cost, it will allow us to be much more profitable going forward as we continue to grow our business. Ancillary services is a key component of our strategy, and we'll continue to develop that both in the mortgage and title. They will never be a significant part of our business in terms of a percentage of revenue, but there will be a significant part of our business, a percentage of EBITDA, because that the gross profit per transaction, EBITDA per transaction, is much higher in a mortgage transaction and in a title transaction. Both of our businesses have grown significantly. In Q1 of this year, we grew our mortgage business by 15% of the year, and again, in a very tough market. And our title business grew by over 60%. Feel very proud about the team, both in Encompass Lending and Veris, for their continued success as we continue to grow this business in a very difficult time for this industry. So as we anticipate the market changing later this year and into 2026 and beyond, we believe that Encompass and Verus will make significant contributions to the profitability of our business. I mentioned earlier that we believe we have an effective growth strategy, and we continue to develop that. As I mentioned earlier, again, we the cost to do the direct cost of our transaction, our platform is roughly 200 less than $270 per transaction, which is significantly lower than our competitors. And so for that reason, we believe that we can continue to grow much faster. We're certainly going to continue to increase gross profits as we grow our business. Elevate will be a significant contributor to that. And we'll continue to enhance with ancillary services. So when you put the totality of all these things together, we think that going forward, our company could be very profitable. We believe that once we pass adjusted EBITDA positive, we can drive 60 cents of every dollar, between 60 and 65 cents of every additional dollar of gross profit to the bottom line. And so the company is really reaching what we call as an inflection point in our profitability. Our goal long term is to reach 100,000 agents, and we're going to achieve that in three ways. First, organic growth. Our agents continue to refer other agents. Roughly about 50% of our growth every month comes from our Fathom agents introducing us to other agents that join the company, and we'll continue to do that. And then acquisitions. We believe that we have identified over 100 acquisition targets. And so if you look at the landscape of the real estate industry, we are the 9th to 10th company in the country. So it's a highly fragmented industry. And we have roughly about 1% market share of our agents in the country. So below us, there's roughly tens of thousands of small brokerages. So we have identified about 100, at least 100 brokerages in which that we believe could be acquisition targets. We believe we can do this incredibly well, and I'll discuss a little bit in more detail the acquisition strategy. So my home group was an acquisition that we made in November of last year. My home group had 2,200 agents, and cost us about $3.5 million. We believe that this year we'll do about 1.2 million EBITDA and over $100 million in revenue. And then going forward in 2026, about 130 million revenue, $2 million in EBITDA. So as you can see from that, we think a break even in an acquisition of my home group will be roughly 2 years. We think that there are a significant number of other potential acquisitions for us that would significantly accelerate the growth of this company as we continue to progress down in future years. Let's roughly discuss the Q1 numbers. Again, we grew Q1 revenue by 32%. We increased gross profit by 34% in Q1 year over year. Agent count grew by 22.8 and transactions by 26%. So, certainly the last, 2020, 2023 and 2024 have been difficult years in this industry. Our revenue, just like most of the industry, decreased. We made a significant change in terms of Q4 last year. Q4 last year was the first quarter that we started growing the company again. And again, we grew again Q1 of this year. And as I mentioned earlier, our goal is to reach adjusted EBITDA positive in Q2 of 2025. And we believe that once we reach adjusted EBITDA positive, we think going forward again, every incremental dollar in gross profit, we think we can drive 60 to 65% to the bottom line. So we think that we're hitting that inflection point, and the combination of all the things we discussed in terms of our ancillary businesses, Elevate, continue to grow, smaller acquisitions. When you put all this together based on our technology and our offerings, that we make a very powerful case for the growth of our company. We continue to grow across the country. We're in 43 states, and we'll continue to develop our footprint across the country. We think that by the end of the year, we should probably be in all 50 states. We're just being more strategic about how we open the states. Both mortgage and title continue to expand, and we think that we'll have most of the country covered by the end of the year again on mortgage and title as well. One of the things that we're really proud at Fathom is our agent turnover, because you can recruit as many agents as you want, but the turnover is really a key indicator of the value that you bring to agents. As a matter of fact, a few months back, there was a survey done by a third party company that looked at a variety of industries. And one of the industries they looked at is real estate. And they looked at reviews across many different platforms. And Fathom Realty had the highest agent satisfaction of any of all national brokerages. So we're really proud of that. An example of that is our turnover. We have a very low turnover, agents leaving, and the majority of the agents that actually leave Fathom actually do very few transactions. So again, we have very few agents leaving us, but the ones that do leave, they actually close very little business. So we're very proud of that, which is really a key factor in the value that we bring. Because at the end of the day, just like any other business, it's about the value that you bring into your customers, and we feel very proud of the value that we bring to our agents. Overall, again, the historical performance of the company prior to 2023, the company grew significantly. Certainly, 2023 and 2024, we were impacted by the decline in the real estate industry, but we're back growing again. Started growing Q4 of last year, Q1 of this year, and we believe that that growth curve will continue for the foreseeable future. We have a great management team. All of us in the company have had a great deal of experience, not only in the real estate industry, but mortgage, title, as well as fast growth businesses, startups. And so, we have a team that has, I like to call it, we have scars, in a sense, we have a great deal of experience. And going through difficult times, that's when great leadership manifests itself. And so we're really proud of the team and the work they have done, especially in the last few years. And based on that work, I think it's going to lead us into the future. Our board of directors is incredibly supportive, and very blessed to have a board of directors that has a great deal of experience. From our chairman, Scott Flanders, we're in multiple companies and startups, and to David, who's our audit chair, Jennifer Ravilla, Adam Rothstein, who just joined the company in the board in the last few months, has a great deal of experience in private equity and growth businesses. And Steve Murray, if you are familiar with the real estate industry, is probably one of the most knowledgeable and influential people in this industry. He's been in the industry for over 40 years. He has done at least 600 or 700 M&A deals in his lifetime. He's been around for a long time and has a great deal of knowledge. And we certainly feel blessed to have a board of directors that really understand the challenges and ups and downs of our business, but not only the real estate but other business as well. So with that, I'll stop, and I will take any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Marco. Press the Q&A button and type in any questions you may have for Marco. As we can take only your written questions today, we ask that you please not use the raise hand button. Thank you very much. We've already received some questions here, Marco. What strategies will you use to sustain Fathom's revenue growth and agent network expansion?
Sure. I think there are many things that we have done and will continue to do that. So, Elevate is a program that, as I mentioned, we launched this about 2 months ago, and it'll be a significant differentiator for our company. And I think overall for the industry, we're already seeing some competitors actually react to Elevate. Elevate will increase our gross profit by over 400%, and we increase our EBITDA by over 500%. And so certainly Elevate will have a significant impact. I think small acquisitions and walkovers will have a significant impact as well, because when we bring them in, as I demonstrated through the great acquisition of My Home Group, they had a really fantastic team, and we really being able to have a significant impact on EBITDA. And going forward, that is going to be that is going to contribute as well. We continue to manage our cost structure, and we made some significant changes in cost structure to continue to leverage that and optimize that. And so all these things are going to be contributors. I don't believe that there's always a silver bullet. I think there are many things you need to do in order to get to the goals you're trying to create. And I think the combination of our ancillary businesses, Elevate, our operational efficiencies, our technology, smaller acquisitions, when you put all this together, it really provides a platform for significant growth and significant profitability. So we feel like the next few years, as we end certainly the last 2 or 3 most difficult years in this industry, we are really well positioned to take advantage of the growth that's coming and certainly have a significant impact in our profitability.
You've mentioned how acquisitions are a part of your growth strategy. Can you give examples of who might look to acquire Fathom?
Well, I mean, I don't, we don't certainly discuss anybody acquiring Fathom. I think we're really just we continue to be focused on our growth, and we continue to do the things that we need to do. I always tell people that if you focus on everything, you focus on nothing. So I'm very blessed to have a great executive team. We have our heads down, and we're focusing our growth and bringing this company to profitability. In terms of somebody potentially acquiring Fathom, I can't speculate on that, and so we're focused on growing our business, and then the rest will take care of itself.
How are you balancing growth investments with the goal of improving margins and controlling operating costs?
Yeah, great question. It's always the challenge, right? I always tell people that running a business, you can read all the books and all the classes you want, but running a business is nothing like experience, right? And making tough decisions. I mentioned earlier that I have a great executive team that has a great deal of scars, and scars come from experience. So there's always a fine balance, and you have to measure these investments and these decisions based on both short term and long term, right? And certainly we made a somewhat modest investment in Elevate. We feel Elevate is going to contribute significantly. In other cases, we cut some other programs, right? So it's never an easy thing, and this is where I believe that experience matters, right? Having an executive team that has done these tough decisions and these tough choices, they matter. I always say that great leadership manifests itself during difficult times for a company, and so we have that experience. We have done the tough, made the tough choices and tough decisions. So, but we continue to evaluate everything. We look at from a cost structure, from a return on investment, return on capital. We look at for in terms of how we can grow our business and help our agents. There's a lot of things we take in consideration, and I have a team that helps me make these decisions. But some of them are not easy to make, and some are certainly difficult. But we believe that overall, we made more right decisions than wrong ones. We're always going to make some wrong ones as part of life, but we feel like we can continue to make the right ones. We will have a bright future ahead of us.
How does IntelliAgent support your growth? And are you planning to monetize your tech or data more broadly?
Sure. Yeah, IntelliAgent is a really great platform. It really is the core foundation of our business. Allows us to run the business at a much lower cost, number one. Second, allows us to implement new products and services incredibly fast. We actually launched revenue share in 90 days from the time that we decided to do it to the time it went live. We implemented Elevate in 60 days. And so we're able to really move very fast and implement things very quickly. That is a significant competitive advantage. We certainly are looking forward sometime next year. We've had numerous small brokers come to us and say, hey, would you license both IntelliAgent and Elevate? And we certainly are looking at that, and that potentially could be another revenue stream because the product, again, is so robust and it's so effective in terms of really running the business. One of the challenges a lot of companies, I mentioned that earlier, is that they're using 4 or 5 different products, and those products often don't talk to each other. And so you create what's called islands of automation, in a sense that you have all these different products that don't communicate with each other. IntelliAgent is a comprehensive product that's one platform. And again, we'll continue to add more to it. So, yes, it is. going back to your question, it is very possible that there's a significant revenue stream to license not only IntelliAgent but Elevate to small brokerages.
Fathom's current cash runway and funding plan. Do you anticipate needing additional capital to support your growth?
Look, I think we're comfortable where we are today, but I always tell people, I say, look, I'm opportunistic in terms of the future. It's really how do we put cash to work and the return on that. And so, I never say no because there's so many opportunities ahead of us. We anticipate hitting adjusted EBITDA positive in Q2. And certainly that's our goal, and we have not announced Q2 numbers yet. We also anticipate that we'll continue to be adjusted positive. That's certainly our goal for the rest of the year. And then after that, our goal is to hit cash flow positive. So, we'll continue to look at the cash we have and what are the opportunities. And, the market, there's a lot of opportunities out there. And, I never corner myself in any position. I always want to take advantage of and have the flexibility to make the right decisions long term for the business. I think one of the challenges of a public company is that our value or measure on a quarterly basis. And sometimes when you make a decision on a quarterly basis, it is not the right decision for the business long term. And so I think one of the things that a great CEO can do and a great team is balance the long term versus short term, both in terms of investment, both in terms of growth, and take advantage of the opportunities ahead of us. Certainly, my home group was an example of that, right? And so, we run the business in a very flexible way in terms of looking at everything in front of us and making the right decision that we think that can continue to grow the business.
Could you tell us again what your outlook on the U.S. residential real estate market is for the coming year, and how is
Sure.
Fathom positioned for those market dynamics? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I took look. The market overall in May, I believe, was down 4% year over year. I think the biggest challenge, a lot of people are focused on interest rates, but the challenge with real estate is I would suggest it's really affordability. And affordability is really just a math equation between interest rates and the price of houses. And so if the interest rate, and if you look at historically, 6.5%, 6% has been historically the norm for interest rates. I remember when I bought my first house, and I'm going to be dating myself now. I believe I bought my first house at 14%. And so what really has to happen and is beginning to happen, we can see data, and I certainly will update our Q2 earnings call market data. We're already beginning to see prices of houses decline. And so what we think is as prices of houses decline, and then hopefully the Fed reduces the overnight rate, and then we get some, hopefully the 10-year will come down, and we get some relief from mortgage rates. The combination of those two are going to significantly positive affect affordability. And so we think that it's still 2025 is going to be a tough year in the industry. Again, having said that, we grew by over 30% in Q1, and we believe that we'll grow by that margin for the rest of the year. But we think later in this year, we're going to see some relief, both in prices coming down and interest rates. And I think in 2026 and beyond, we should we should be rewarded with an increased number of transactions. So it's possible that in 2026, we could see transactions in the 4.5 million, and then possibly 5 million transactions in 2027. I would say that if that happens, then these are going to be really positive results for the industry and overall for Fathom as we continue to grow their business. So we certainly are looking, we think that, we sort of have beginning to turn the corner. We're certainly not out of the woods yet. I think we're still going to have some tough months ahead of us. But we certainly believe that later in 2025 and in 2026 and 27, there'll be some relief, some increase in number of transactions. There's a lot of people out there wanting to buy a house, and it's the affordability issue. And when the affordability index comes down, then people are going to benefit from that.
How are you using Elevate and any other initiatives to keep agents and retain them?
Sure. Well, the beauty about Elevate, again, if you just think this industry is actually a very interesting industry. I've been in many different industries, software all my life, and technology. The real estate industry is one of the few, if not the only industry that I know of, that asks salespeople, real estate agents, to do all kinds of non-sales activities. A real estate agent has to be an expert into project management, into marketing, lead generation, technology, AI now. And so we ask real estate agents to really spend money, time, energy doing all these things. Elevate is focused on helping the agent focus on their time with their customer, the client, and we do everything else. And so what happens is Elevate really changes the sort of the shift into how much time an agent spends with the non-sales activities versus the sales activity. The most important thing that a real estate agent should do is spend time with their clients, right? And so Elevate takes care of all the other stuff. And as agents, as we continue to work with agents and we do all those non-sales tasks for agents, and they spend more clients and their business starts increasing, we think that Elevate agents will never leave, right? Because of the offering and the benefit that Elevate has done. And so we're very excited about Elevate. We are in its very early stages. We're 2 months, 2.5 months into the program. There's an enormous runway. We continue to improve the program. Like anything else is new, we have our bumps on the road, and we're going through all of that. But we think Elevate going forward, it will be a paradigm shift, not only for Fathom, but I think for the industry overall.
Final question for you, Marco. What could you reiterate Fathom's key competitive advantages? For example, your commission model, your technology
Sure.
in this highly competitive national brokerage market. Thank
Sure.
you very
Yeah, I
much.
think we're. Yeah, thank you for that question. I think there's many things. I think certainly our commission models and the value that we bring to agents. Our technology allows to run the business at a much more cost efficient, as well as implement products and service. So time to market, developing new things, we can do it much faster. So technology is a significant differentiator. The third is mortgage and title because we can make higher profitability from those. Elevate will be a significant competitive advantage for us and differentiator from us. And so when you put all these things together, the ability of our technology, our model, Elevate, ancillary businesses, the ability for us to do a walkover and acquisition. There are many companies out there that they do acquisitions as well. Okay. Um, and the challenge they have is how do you bring them in? I mean, there's a couple companies that have bought 8, 9, 10 companies over time, but all those companies are running individually, separately. There's no economies of scale, so 11 different brands and separate accounting, separate processes. Like our technology allows us to bring in a smaller brokerage or even a large brokerage like my home group and put everything in the same technology in terms of the processes. So again, technology, our model, Elevate, ancillary business, and our leadership. Leadership matters. We have a great team that has been through difficult times together, made tough decisions, and at the end of the day, leadership does matter. So I think when you put all these things together, and I think Fathom is in a really interesting position to take advantage of the significant market uptrend in the next 2, 3, 4 years, and we'll continue to be a significant player in the industry. So I think those things really make differentiates us from other companies out there.
Thank you, Marco. For more information about Fathom Holdings, please reach us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at FTHM@redchip.com. Visit RedChip's investor information page for Fathom. It's FTHMinfo.com. There, you can view and download the investor presentation and fact sheet for Fathom and sign up for news alerts. RedChip is excited to announce the launch of RedChat, our advanced AI assistant designed to empower investors with instant, in-depth insights on thousands of small cap and micro cap stocks. Try it now on FTHMinfo.com or go to red.chat. Watch Small Stocks, Big Money, RedChip's program featuring exciting small cap companies every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Bloomberg USA. And finally, join RedChip's next webinar with Bullfrog AI on Wednesday, July 23rd at 4:15 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Register for all RedChip webinars at redchip.com/events. Thank you again to our many participants today, and thanks a lot, Marco.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the time and opportunity. Have a great week.